At Kan, we've spoken about two mahalchim in understanding Sefer Yonah, what Yonah gets wrong. Meaning, what is Yonah's fight with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Option number one we saw is the classic mahalach that Rashi quotes from the Midrashim, that Yonah has a issue with HaKadosh Baruch Hu sending him to go speak to Nineveh, because Nineveh is Asher. That's the capital city of Asher, and Yonah does not want the Jewish people to be exiled. He doesn't want them to be destroyed. Certainly not the 10 northern tribes. And he basically says, "Over my dead body," quite literally, right? You want me to do this? I'm not involved. I'm not interested. Chuck me overboard. No go, buddy. I'm not interested. Meaning he doesn't even say any of those things. He says nothing, right? He says, "I'm not doing it." Meaning that's what he says to himself. He goes into the sea. Whatever happens to him is going to happen to him, but he is on strike. He's not interested in anything to do with HaKadosh Baruch Hu using him to go warn Nineveh to do tshuva, because they're going akrevi tshuva. It'll make the Jewish people look bad. This will result in the destruction of the Jewish people. Okay. And the story of Sefer Yonah, therefore, is the story of the value of doing tshuva, right? Meaning Yonah does not want Nineveh to do tshuva. Nineveh does do tshuva. We spoke about the fact the first year that Nineveh does tshuva. It's a terrible tshuva. And arguably the reason that we read this on Yom Kippur is because
if they could get away with a terrible tshuva,
that's it. That meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu he'll take what he gets, right? And there's certainly a beautiful and very deep truth to that story. Everybody with me? Good. Option number one. Option number two, and this is also part of the story. Option number two is the story of that we saw from Rishu ibn Shuv, the Talmud of the Rashba, and from Ramesh Bali, the Talmud of Ramchal, that there is another angle to this whole story, which is the lesson of Ramesh Bali, that the whole story of Sefer Yonah is V'racham B'al Kol Ma'asav, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has tremendous rachamim, which is antithetical to the midah of emes. And we spoke about the fact that Yonah ben Amitai is the son of Eliyahu, and meaning he's the adopted son of Eliyahu Navi. He's the spiritual heir of that idea of emes, of Eliyahu Navi, that Eliyahu Navi wants to represent this aspect of emes in the world, and Yonah is continuing that legacy, and Nineveh is not, the tshuva of Nineveh is not going to be emes, and Yonah does not want this tshuva to be accepted. Doesn't want this tshuva to be accepted, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is effectively twisting his arm and saying that, nope, good, I want you to do this, forcing you to do this, and Yonah eventually cross uncle, but he never, ever, ever is masking. He's never masking to it. He does what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. He is fascinatingly successful, more successful than any Navi in the history of Nebuah, right? More successful than any Navi in the history of Nebuah. He is incredibly successful. And Nineveh, at least even on the surface, he's more successful than any other Navi.
Even on the ship,
and the ship is we'll see if we have time to get to the Sefer on the ship. Probably next week we're going to talk about the Sefer on the ship. But the sailors on the ship are probably the greatest example of tshuva in all of Tanakh. Probably the best version of Bali tshuva that we have ever seen in all of Tanakh. And they play a big role. Arguably later in the story, at least according to the Ibn Ezra, but we'll see. Maybe if we have time, we'll get to a little bit of that today, but if not, next week. And then we spoke about the fact last week that Yonah, it seems in the second parak, which is the whole story of him in the fish, that whole story is Yonah is davening to Hashem, but it's all praise and gratitude. There's no acquiescence of any form of failure. And we argued that that is because Yonah doesn't believe that he did anything wrong. And the reason that he is saved, according to Yonah, is because he's right. That's why he's saved. Meaning, he was ready to be Mekabel Avos Hadin. He's ready to say, I'm Chayv Misa, so let me die. I'm willing to give it my life. I'm willing to give it my life for either for the Jewish people, or for emes, or for both. But I'm not going to Nineveh. And if that makes me into a Navi, that's Kovesh's Nevuah, if I'm squelching, covering up, harboring the Dvar Hashem without letting it get into the world, I'm happy to be masking to that. I'm happy to let that happen. Because I'm not going to be the vehicle through which this occurs. I'm willing to give up my life for it. And he does so. You remember when Yonah gets himself thrown off the boat, he doesn't expect that a fish is going to swallow him and save him, right? Meaning, we know that. Like, we're yawning through Sefer Yonah and Yom Kippur afternoon, waiting, Neilah's coming, this is my last opportunity to sit, right? That's usually what we're thinking. Yonah is not thinking that. Yonah thinks he's going to die. And he's ready for it. He was ready for it on the boat already. Meaning the storm is coming and like, Yonah expects his own death. He's waiting for it. He's anticipating it. He thinks that it's coming. And he's happy to accept it. Because his kavish and versa is chayv misv'dei shemayim. It's liable for the death penalty. Not in Beis Din. Beis Din has no idea whether you're a Navi or you're not a Navi. Meaning, they don't know if you're a Navi. They don't know if you had Nevuah. Right? Once a Navi is a bona fide Navi, so the Beis Din knows that he's a Navi. But they don't know, did you get a new Nevuah today? Are you hiding it? So it's a misv'dei shemayim. And indeed, he's ready to accept it. And then by the time the fish comes and he swallows him, Yonah is talking about this all in the past tense because he thinks that he's already been saved. And that this is now his... HaKadosh Baruch Hu agrees with him. This is his mission. This is good. Excellent. Sababa. He's ready. Yeah.
If he's a Navi and he's knows he's getting a Nevuah, and he's essentially running from it, doesn't he also, it's Hashem? It's going to be Hashem will get someone else.
Yes.
So I understand maybe you could say that he himself doesn't want to be involved in XYZ, Nineveh, whatever. But how could he think that by him, not just him not doing whatever it is, whether it's Nineveh or anything, that there won't be someone else to do it anyway?
You're 100% right.
He doesn't want to do it.
He's saying, I'm not going to be the guy. Find someone else.
Right. So it's really just him not wanting. It's not.
Yes.
It's not so much. So he knows that he can't, even though
he can't stop it, but it's not going to be him.
So what we're going to argue today is that Yonah knows that if he doesn't do it, there is no one else. There's something unique about him that does not exist by any other Navi. And there is a third mahalach that we are going to discuss here in what is going on within Sefer Yonah. And we're going to speak about it from a number of different places, in the Midrashim and in the Zohar and in the Arizal and the Mekubalim. And you see this in a number of already this is in many of the Sfarim. The Al-Shech HaKadosh speaks about this. But we should learn it inside with the Pirkei of the Rebbe Lezer. Because the Pirkei of the Rebbe Lezer tells us about what's going on when Yonah is inside of the fish. Meaning we only know about his tefillah. But there's a lot more to talk about. Tremendous amount more to talk about. And I don't know if we're going to get through the whole Medrash. We'll skip around a little bit, but we'll see a couple of nikudas here. The first point is, it was on a Thursday that Yonah runs away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Mepharshim may explain that why B'dafon. I mean, the Pirkei of the Rebbe Lezer is going through what special things happen on different days of creation, meaning different days of the week. And what's chashav about this being on Thursday? Because Thursday is the day the fish are created, right? That's Yom Chamishi is the day the fish are created. Velama Barach, why did he run away? Let us ask the question, why did he run away? Ela parmi shena shalachai lahashiv es gvul Yisrael v'omdu dvarav shenemar v'hu hishiv es gvul Yisrael melevot Hamas. Because the first time that Yonah is sent anywhere, he is sent lahashiv es gvul Yisrael. What exactly does it mean? Lahashiv es gvul Yisrael. So this is the reference that we have to Yonah in Sefer Malachim. The Radal explains here what's going on here. That Yonah went first, lahashiv es gvul Yisrael, to bring back the people that were on the boundaries, on the borders of Eretz Yisrael, and it worked, even though they were not tzaddikim. They had not yet done tshuva from the chet of Yeravam. Who is Yeravam?
Yeravam ben Nevat.
Yeah. Yeravam ben Nevat is the person that splintered the kingdom. right? After Shlomo Melech dies, his son Rechavam ben Shlomo. Rechavam ben Shlomo takes over the kingdom from his father. There is a united 12/13 tribes of the Jewish people. Rechavam ben Shlomo has Chavra come up to him, they beg him, they say, your father had such heavy taxes on us. What should, please lower the taxes.
Tax them more.
And his young Chavra told him, no, tax them more. And he said, fine, I'll do it. Right? My father gave you a little bit of taxes, I'll give you lots of taxes. And they said, that way you'll get the people to respect you.
Tariffs.
And it did not work. Fail. Right? Hashtag fail. Total abject failure. Yerovam ben Nevat basically has the biggest and largest and most successful breakaway minion of all breakaway minions of all time was Yerovam ben Nevat. Breakaway minion. Right? But it wasn't just, on the block. It was 10 tribes. And from that day, Ad Hayom Hazeh, the Jewish people have not been unified. Meaning, we have not yet gotten back big machlokas in the Mishnah and the Sanhedrin, whether they did come back, they didn't come back, where are the 10 lost tribes, are they lost, how lost are they, what percentage, where are they? Lots to speak about, not for now. We've spoken about the different opportunities, and we'll probably do more. So lots to say about the 10 tribes. But Yerovam ben Nevat is not a big tzaddik. Yerovam ben Nevat is an enormous Rasha.
Shlomo's son?
No, Yerovam, the breakaway minion guy, right?
Oh.
Meaning the king of the northern kingdom,
Okay.
right? The king of Malchut Yisrael, right? That's meaning you have Malchus Yehuda in the south and Malchus Yisrael in the north. 10 northern tribes. Malchus Yisrael, Yerovam ben Nevat is their first king, and he is a big Rasha. He builds 2 egels, and he builds his own fake out Beis Hamikdash, and appoints his own Kohanim. He creates his own religion, like effectively, and says that he's the legitimate religion, and Yerushalayim is not the place. And for the next 300 years, pretty much, every single Navi that is sent to the Jewish people is primarily sent to the 10 northern tribes to get them to stop being Ovdei Avodah Zarah. And overwhelmingly, it doesn't work. Meaning, the whole story that we learned at the beginning of Eliyahu and Achav, that's all the story of the Jewish people just still not being interested in doing tshuva, not abandoning their Avodah Zarah. They've been doing this for many, many, many years. So Yonah is one of the Nevi'im that's sent to the Ashivas Gvul Yisrael to get them to do tshuva. And he is quasi-successful. That's the first thing that Ashivas Gvul Yisrael. And he managed to do it a little bit. Pam Shnia, that's the second time. Shalchol Yerushalayim la'achriva. The second time he is sent to Yerushalayim to destroy it. Meaning to warn them of their destruction. And they did a shtikul tshuva, and it worked. This is they did a shtikul tshuva. The Mefarshim explain when did he get sent to Yerushalayim? We don't really seem to have that in the Pesukim. So this is the reference that Yonah says about himself in the 4th parak of Yonah. Ki yadati ki ata rav ches v'nichal hara. How did I know that? He says, B'yosi alad masi, when I was in my country, I knew this. He says, Hu ad mas kodesh Yerushalayim Yerushalayim mimash dibarti b'shivcha liznave al Yerushalayim she'asu tshuva lo yamdu devarai. He says, I know that you are going to have mercy because you did this already once by Yerushalayim. You sent me to Yerushalayim, and I prophesied to them, and they did a shtikul tshuva. We all know that they didn't really do tshuva. Now you're going to send me to the goyim, and they're going to do tshuva, and then you're going to forgive them. Lo yafeh. And I'm done with this fake out tshuva thing. That is the second time that Yonah is sent. Well, you stole Kohen Oisen Navi Sheker, and they gave him a very hard time about that. The Jewish people looked at him and they said, Yonah, you're a Navi Sheker. You said we're going to get destroyed. We done to tshuva, and we did a shtikul tshuva, and Hashem forgave us.
But a bad nevuah can always be changed.
Mm-hmm. But it made him look bad.
But they did tshuva a little bit.
Yeah, they did a little bit, and they didn't do a good job. And there's a lot to say about that, but just it's kedai to point out that I'll give you an example. There was a weatherman, I think it was 6 or 7 years ago in Florida, that got fired. Erev one of the hurricanes, because he said, for those of you that are like on low-lying coastal areas, if you don't evacuate, you're going to die. If you don't evacuate, you're going to die. And I don't know if everybody evacuated or they didn't, but that area didn't get as hit as they were anticipating. There were other areas that did. That guy got fired.
Got to point a finger at someone.
Right. That guy got fired. Why did he get fired?
Because next time, when they need people to go, no one's gonna go.
Right. Because if you say something, meaning if you say everybody's going to die, if you don't, so then it makes you look bad. It's true that everybody's much happier when they're not dead, right? Overwhelmingly. But the guy that is the alarmist always looks bad in the end. So Yonah's like, what do you want from me here? Lo yafeh. The third time he sends him to Nineveh. Dan Yonah din bein lebein atzma. Yonah makes the following decision. Amari said, I know that this nation they're ready to do tshuva. Achshav oisim tshuva. They'll do it instantaneously. V'akadosh baruch hu shalach ragza al Yisrael, and Hashem is gonna get angry with the Jewish people. Not only are the Jewish people going to call me a false prophet, and I'm also going to look like an idiot to the Umas Ha'olam, meaning I'm going to lose no matter what. I'm a loser however this plays out. Says, Hareini bareach li lamakim shelo ne'amar kavod Hashem. I'm going to go to a place where the kavod of Hashem is not mentioned. What does it mean the kavod of Hashem is not mentioned? Im ala shamayim, if I go to the heavens, ostensibly, Yonah is saying, I could go to the heavens. I could ascend to the heavens. Nemar shel kavod Hashem. Shenemar ala shamayim kavod. It says that Hashem's honor is in the heavens. I could go to the heavens. I'm not going to the heavens because Hashem's honor is there. Ala aretz nemar shel kavod Hashem. Hashem's honor is on earth. Meloi kol aretz kavod. The whole world is filled with His kavod. Hareini bareach li lamakom shelo nemar kavod Hashem. Because Baruch Hu's kavod is never mentioned by the ocean. Right? We have Kol Hashem, Alamayim. Right? Hashem's voice is there, but His honor is not there. I won't get nevuah. He got to the port of Jaffa. There's no boat. And the boat that Yonah wanted to go on was very far. It was a 2-day journey from Jaffa. The boat was far away. There were no boats. To test Yonah, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want to make it easy for him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what did He do? Hashem brought this massive storm that brought the boat to Jaffa. So you imagine the sailors that are on the ship. They're like going wherever they're going. So, and that's what the pasuk says, that the boat was Ba Tarshish, was on its way to Tarshish. So what's it doing in Jaffa? Right? Ella, what's happening? Because Baruch Hu made a big storm for the boat to show up. So if you're in Yonah, what are you thinking? Because Baruch Hu is masking with me already. Meaning, He's allowing me to do this. He's allowing me. Meaning, Yonah saying, Hashem wants me to run away. Meaning, He wants me to have this. It's all part of like this cognitive dissonance that Yonah is dealing with. Hashem spoke to me, told me to go to Nineveh. I know that it's not going to be a Kiddush Hashem for me to go to Nineveh. So I'm not going to get it. It's not going to be good for the Jewish people. And it's not going to be good for HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Do you think it's being tested?
Yes. Absolutely.
But what does he think the pass of the test is?
Mm-hmm.
To not go, I think.
Correct.
Do exactly what he's doing.
Yes, that's what he thinks is passing the test.
And also, I think it's more that it's not just not to go to Nineveh to get them to do tshuva, but then to try and do more tshuva with the Jews. Instead.
If he can, maybe. Although, remember, he's willing to die.
Is there context for this where a Navi has been tested like this to not listen?
Yeah, Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is the archetype of this. Because Baruch Hu says to him, I'm going to destroy the Jewish people, make you a great nation. Moshe Rabbeinu says, quite literally, over my dead body. Right? Then take me out of the book. I'm done. You find this by Avram Avinu as well.
Right.
Avraham Avinu was debating with HaKadosh Baruch Hu over
If I
stone.
find 50, if I find 40, if I find 30.
Right? Meaning Yonah thinks that he is being told this nevuah so that he can run away. Meaning he knows that this is going to happen, and he doesn't see anything good coming out of this nevuah. It's not going to be emes, and it's not going to be good for the Jewish people. It's not going to be good for anybody. Certainly not going to be good for him.
And he thinks he sees reinforcement on what his original thought was.
Right, because the boat just shows up. Psst, look at that. Samach b'libo, so happy, says the Medrash. Va'amarani says, Achshav ani yodea shedarki miyosheres lefanach. I now know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants me to do this. I know that this is what Hashem wants. Meaning, he sees his own hatzlacha as an indication of this is how it's supposed to be.
The right choice.
Right. Marlahem eredim achem, he says, I want to go with you. Amrulai, hare anu halchim le'iye yam Tarshisha. We are planning to go to Tarshish. Like, this is where we're not supposed to be here. Marlahem avayimchem. I'll come with you. Good. Wherever I'm going, let's go. Usually, when a person gets off a boat, is where he pays his fare, right? When you get off the boat, that's when you pay. Yonah is so excited to do this, he gives the money already. He says, let's go. So he gets up to run away to Tarshish from before Hashem. Perish Malach Yom Echad. So Parashah Malach Yom Echad, they are 1 day's distance away. And all of a sudden, it's a big storm. Mimilam Yishmalam, the right and the left. And all of the boats, the other boats in the sea, are all chilling. They're all hanging out there, and it's quiet. This boat, it's like a cartoon, right? This boat is. So if you're one of the sailors on the boat, what do you think?
You're cursed.
Someone doesn't like me.
Right. By the way, you know from the psukim that the sailors on the boat know that it's Yonah.
Well, they ask who's on the ship.
Right. But they know that this is all because of Yonah. Firstly, they know that it's none of the other ships. Right? Meaning this is a abnormal supernatural storm. And they also know...
They probably know their fellow sailors.
Well, because they were going one place and then they ended up here. And they took on one passenger. And now this is happening. It's kind of a dead giveaway, right? Like, which one of these is not like the other? This is new for all of them. Like, all of these sailors, we've been doing the sailing thing for like a long... This is the first time we've ever seen any of this happen. First time we've ever seen anything like this. This boat is in tremendous trouble. The pasuk says, the boat is about to break. That on the boat were representatives of 70 nations. That's a fascinating boat. I saw your boat. What a strange thing to say. 70 languages are represented. 70 nations of the world are representative. No?
That's why I could the languages. Is that where it's going at?
There's a lot. There's a lot to say here.
Collective and all different.
Any similarities to
different languages.
The Migdal Bavel?
Yes. Yes. Shiva Mumas, the 70 nations here, 70 languages.
It's
Each one of them had their avodah zarah in their hand. They each have their own avodah zarah in their hand.
wow.
Right? That each of the sailors cries out to his God, meaning each one of them had their own God. And they decide like this. Each one of us is going to call out to their God. This is going to be, we know that this is supernatural. So each one of us is going to take a turn. This is the best test in the world.
Who's the real God?
Who is the real God? Psst. Amazing, right? Each one calls out and
No one answers.
Bobkas. Lion is dead, right? If this one calling to Ran and Anubis and Baal and where? No. Karma and Dharma and Shwarma, it says a lot. That's nothing. Yonah is off to sleep. Comes to him the captain. We are all standing between life and death. And you are going to sleep. You are in a deep slumber. Who are you? What nation are you from? I'm a Jew. We heard that your God is a big God. Call out to your God. Maybe your God will save us. Maybe he will do miracles for you, for us, like he did by your ancestors by Yamsuf. Meaning, we've all heard the stories. We know that you have a very powerful God. None of ours are helping, so maybe yours will. He says, I'm not going to lie to you. This is all because of me. I know that this is because of me. So if you chuck me overboard, you'll see that this will all quieten down. Pick me up, chuck me off. Rabbi Shimon says, they said, no, we don't want to. We don't want to chuck you overboard. And they decided they're going to do a lottery. Mamash tzidkus, these people. These are honest, earnest going. They don't want to throw him overboard.
Why would they want? Yeah, it's weird.
Right? By the way, these are the going that are the most craving tshuva. They don't want to do something that they don't believe to be morally correct. They don't. Meaning he's saying, chuck me overboard. They're like, maybe you're just a weirdo. Right? Maybe you're a suicidal nut job that is trying to get yourself killed. Right? Maybe you're sick. Like, but yeah, right now you are acting very strange. Like maybe you're crazy. That doesn't mean you chai misa. Maybe, but you're acting super strange. Tzaddikim, mamash. Meaning, right now he's told them that he's a Radev. Right? He's the reason that they're all going to die. Maybe. And then they did a whole lottery. And then it falls out on Yonah again. And again and again and again and again and again. They toss all of the cargo overboard. Helped nothing. They wanted to get back to dry land. They couldn't. They took Yonah, they hung him overboard, right? They made him, he walked a plank or whatever, they hung him overboard. And they said, Elohei Olam Hashem, Al Yitain Aleinu Dam Naki. Do not hold us liable for spilling the blood of an innocent person. She'ein Anu Yodim Mativa. We don't know what is the deal with this person. And Yonah says, Chavra, chuck me overboard. Just do it.
Why doesn't he just jump?
It's a good question, right? So throw me overboard. Miyad natlu ve'etilu ad arkev. So they dipped him in. When the sea stops. Okay, they picked him back up again. Picked him up. Hitilu ad taburo. Dipped him into his belly button. And then the storm stops. Islam and picked him back up. And then the storm picks up again. They dipped into his neck. And then the sea stops. And then brings him back. And the sea continues to storm. dipped him all the way in, they dropped him, and the storm is over. Wow. That's my guess is that you would also probably convert to Yiddishkeit from this story, right? Yep. You go, ooh, this seems legit. This seems legit. Whatever that guy did, we should probably not do it, right? You gotta be careful. Like, don't anger his God. That's the real one. Rabbi Tarfon tells us that fish that comes to swallow up Yonah was waiting there since the Yom Chamishi of Sheshes Mebreshis Hashem created at the beginning of time. This big fish comes to find Yonah, swallows it. Nichnas befiv ka'adam shu nichnas bebeis haknesses hagdola, and he went in like a person going into a big shul. Ve'amad, and he stood there. Vayushtei einav shel dag kechalonis apumiyos mi'iros liyona, and his two eyes were like illuminated windows for Yonah. Submarine fish, right? So off Yonah goes. That's very limited. This is now it's a better story, right? Yonah's going to have a good time here. And inside of the belly of the fish, there was a jewel that illuminated the inside of the fish like the sun at midday. This is...
It sounds almost similar to the window on the table.
Yeah, 100%. Bless you. Remember, and there's a lot to speak about, the Yonah of the Teva. Yeah? Noach sends out a Yonah to find dry land. This Yonah is going into the sea.
Plus, I'm thinking with above it all, it's like the other side of the coin of that too. They're growing up, trying to
build a tower,
but they're to go against Hashem. And here, it's like literally the opposite. And that's where it's separated with all languages. Also, here all languages are coming together.
They're coalescing.
And yeah.
Yes.
And to it's
good.
Literally like this.
Yeah. So Yonah gets on this boat and down he goes.
But was Yonah, at that point, he didn't say any type of nevuah to them.
Nothing.
So the impetus for their tshuva was just recognizing that there's one God and it's not any of ours.
Yes. Yes.
But can you argue that that's free choice?
Yeah, of course.
If none of their gods worked, and then you see this, it's obvious.
Yeah.
How can you choose not to believe?
Good. So
still, you make a choice.
You arguably, I mean, and this is true in general. If you don't want to believe in something, you will find good reason not to believe in it.
It's also like he's able to do both things. They're representing all languages everywhere, from all over the world.
Right.
And now they see Hashem through Yonah running away from getting
people to see Hashem.
Yes.
That's kind of
him running away brings
other people closer
to other people, but it's clearly representative of all over the world.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think?
Marilai Kol Masha B'Yam V'Tahamas. The fish is going to show everything that's in the sea and in the depths. Valav Kasavayim, that's what the pasuk says. Or Zarua Latzadik, that a light is planted for the tzaddik. Yonah is the tzaddik. Interesting. Right now, we'd imagine that Yonah is a Russian. He's running away from Hashem. No. Or Zarua Latzadik. Says the Medrash, all of this makes Yonah a tzaddik. He certainly thinks so. Right? No, Chazal are telling us that Yonah is a tzaddik. What's going on? Amar lo hadag li Yonah. Says the dag to Yonah. אין אתה יודע שבא יומי להאכל, אין אתה יודע שבא יומי להאכל בפיו של לוויתן. Says the fish to Yonah, he says, pity you arrived today. Don't you know that today's the day that the Leviathan is coming to eat me? This is my last day here.
So that fish wasn't the Leviathan.
Nope. Right?
This is a dove, not a.
This is not the Leviathan. He says, don't you know that this is my last day here? Pity that this is when you came to visit. Would have been a lot nicer yesterday. I guess you're here with me till the end.
Wasn't he in the first fish for 3 days?
So far the Medrash hasn't said, this Medrash hasn't said this.
But the Psukim, don't the Psukim say that?
Pasuk says Dag and Dag. So one of the Midrashim says that 3 days in one fish and then 3 days, and then he went to that fish.
The Psukim don't clearly.
Nope.
Okay.
This fish says, I'm about to get chomped by the Leviathan. Amar lo Yonah halicheni etzla. Yonah says, no worries, take me to him. Now we're about to find out a totally different Yonah. We have learned about Yonah running away. The Yonah that runs away. Now we have another Yonah. This is a Yonah version 2, 2.0. This is Yonah under the sea is a different fellow. Take me to the Leviathan. Amar Yonah Leviathan, says Yonah to the Leviathan. Get this. Bishvilcha yarati. I am here for you. Lir'os makom medurcha. To find out where you live. My whole story here is to find you. I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. And I came out with a brilliant patent to get to you. I finagled all of this to find you. Shani, why? Shani asid litin chevel b'leshoncha, because in the future I will put a rope in your tongue, and to bring you up, v'lizbach esa l'suda hagdola shel tzadikim, and I will shecht you for the big suda for the tzadikim.
We say that by Sukkot.
Right? The Ore shel Leviathan. The sukkah of the skin of the Leviathan. He says, I'm your sheikhet. Now, Chazal in Bavli tell us that the Milchama with the Leviathan is going to be done by Gabriel. There are different versions of these midrashim. But the Pirkei Rav Lezer is telling us that this is part of the story of Yonah. Yonah's story has something to do with Leviathan. That he's the guy that's going to kill the Leviathan. But apparently not yet. Apparently, he's not going to kill him today. Today is not the day. Today is the day that the Leviathan thinks that he's going to eat the fish that Yonah is swimming around in. And he says, no. Take me to the Leviathan. So how does he get away from the Leviathan? He showed him the chosam, the seal of Avraham. What's the seal of Avraham called? Bris Milah. Amar habeit labrit. He says, take a look. I got a bris milah. I got a bris milah. So you cannot eat the fish that I'm in. Okay. Vera Leviathan. The Leviathan sees the bris. Ubarach mipnei Yonah ma'alach shnei yom, and runs away from Yonah the distance of 2 days. Off he goes, he bolts. Gone. But after 2 days, what are these 2 days? Keep it in mind. Amarla, he says to him, Harei hitzalticha mipiv shel Leviathan. He says to the fish, Babula, I just saved you from the Leviathan. Hareini kol ma shebiyama v'tahamas. Now you have to show me everything that's in the deep. You have to show me everything that's down here. And the rest of this parak, the 10th parak of Pirkei Reb Eliezer, the rest of this parak is the journey that the Dag takes him on. All the places that he goes to. What's going on here? Now, there's a lot to say about all the places that he goes to. Maybe we'll do that next week. But what's going on? Coming to show him the Leviathan, I came down here for you. To tell you that I'm going to kill you. I want you to know I'm going to kill you. And the Leviathan apparently wants to kill him. He says, I have a bris milah, you can't touch me. No go. Not able. Stay away from me. So to this end, we need to understand Medrash of Eliyahu Rabbah, the Medrash Eliyahu Rabbah. We have Tanna Debei Eliyahu Rabbah and Tanna Debei Eliyahu Zuta, two midrashim that came out of the base Medrash of Eliyahu HaNavi. Meaning, these are the midrashim that were said by Eliyahu HaNavi. This is in the 18th parak of Eliyahu Rabbah. It's a very long parak, in the middle of the parak. We'll just take two lines here, where Eliyahu HaNavi is discussing the story of when he went to go visit the Isha Atzrafis. Remember the woman that, during the story of Achav, that he goes and he goes to get, Hashem sends to get food from her, and then she says, we're going to die, this is our last meal, and he says, make some food for me. And then you'll have Amarti Lahem. I said to them, says Eliyahu HaNavi, I said to them, Oisei Tinuk, this baby, Mashiach ben Yosef Haya. This baby is Mashiach ben Yosef. V'remez ramazti la'olam sha'ani yored tchila lebavel v'achar kach yavai ben David. And I'm giving a remez here, that first I go to Bavel, and then Mashiach ben David will come. What does it mean? I'm going to Bavel, levaseres ha'geula, to go and announce the geula. It's coming lekabetz nidchei Yisrael. It's the parish here, to gather in the Jewish people. And then I'm coming here to make sure that this baby survives, to bring this baby back to life. And then I'll go to Bavel and I will announce that the Jewish people should come home. And then Mashiach ben David will come. This baby is identified as Mashiach ben Yosef. We have like this from the Beis Medrash of the Vilna Gaon. This is in Kol HaTorah, which is all of the Torahs of the Vilna Gaon on Geula that were put together over a number of different years of different editions. But this is from Rav Hillel of Shklov, Mendel of Shklov, Rav Hillel of Shklov. It was written, that's the originator of the Beis Medrash. It was written by Rav Yosef Rivlin 150 years ago or so. Darshaning on the pasuk, Harchivi Makom Ahalech. Pasuk says, Navi, Harchivi Makom Ahalech. This is the Haftarah from last week. Harchivi Makom Ahalech. Expand the place of your tent. Meaning, this is what the Gemara says, that in the future, Eretz Yisrael is going to expand to all of the countries in the world, and Yerushalayim is going to expand to all of Eretz Yisrael. Meaning that there will be this massive expansion of Kedusha, and that the grandeur, the greatness, the sovereignty of the Jewish people is going to expand over the whole world. We're going to conquer the world. The whole world is, and we talk about this all of Rosh Hashanah, right? The whole world should be recognizing, understanding, appreciating this thing called Malchus Hashem. Whose job is it to convince the whole world that there is a God? Whose job? Mashiach ben Yosef. By the way, this is the first job of Yosef, right? Yosef HaTzadik is the first person to go down to another nation and convince everybody about monotheism. Chazal tell us that he gave a bris milah to every single Egyptian. Right? He convinced them all to believe in monotheism. Yosef HaTzadik is the very first major Kiruv institute. I mean, he did a great job. At least for that generation. It did not last after him. But Yosef HaTzadik is the first person to do this. He's the first Jewish leader of the non-Jewish world. Meaning, that which Avraham Avinu dreamt of, Yosef HaTzadik achieves in his lifetime. Mitzvahs harchavas hagvulim hu b'tafkila shel Mashiach ben Yosef. This is the job of Mashiach ben Yosef. Kidvar Hashem el Yonah hanavi. This is what Hashem is telling Yonah. Meaning Hashem is telling Yonah, go and convince Nineveh not to destroy the Jewish people, but to become monotheists. Go and convince them to do tshuva. Because if they do tshuva, then we're on our way to fix up the whole world, to establish that the whole world should have a Malchus Hashem in the world. Yonah's mission is to the rest of the world, convert the rest of the world to monotheism. All of these people that don't believe in go and convince them that they should believe in Hashem. That's what we mean, that he's being Meshiv Gvul Yisrael. It's not, like we said at the beginning, that his first nevuah is Lashiv Gvul Yisrael, is to bring back the Jews that are on the periphery. But Lashiv Gvul Yisrael, to return the boundaries of Yisrael, means to return the boundaries of Yisrael to what they should be. To conquer the rest of the world with Malchus Hashem. V'chein min ha-meitzar lemerchavya. Min ha-meitzar krasika, call it from meitzar, that's Eretz Yisrael in its constricted form. I know that Hashem will also be merchavka, that Hashem is going to expand the borders. Shetavkida harchavas hagvul b'milchamta neged Amalek. His primary objective is to fight the fight of Amalek, meaning against Amalek. Shehu ha-machriv. He is the one that is going to be the real destruction. Ha'oyev tamu charvus la'netzach. Apostle Melchamas Hashem Amalek marchiv neged machriv. Is that Yosef is supposed to be the marchiv, the expander, that is the antithesis of the machriv, the destroyer. Those two words being a play on words, a play on letters of each other. Marchiv versus machriv. Meaning Yonah ben Amittai is the Navi that HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends to go and spread monotheism to the world. He has the capacity to do so. However, so why doesn't he go? If his job is to convert the world to Yiddishkeit, so how come he doesn't want to go? Lord said, doesn't want to. So for this you need the Ramah Mipana. The Ramah Mipana says a tremendous chiddush. There are two, in the Gemara, we have two different versions of what happens to Mashiach ben Yosef. Either he dies or he lives. Right? One of the two. So we learned this in big detail when we were discussing the Mamar HaGeula of the Ramchal. What is Mashiach ben Yosef? It's the natural return of the Jewish people to Eretz Yisrael, to building up a sovereign state. It is the return of the Jewish people to being Am Hashem in Eretz Yisrael. That's the job of Mashiach ben Yosef, internally. And externally is to create a Kiddush Hashem for the rest of the world. In our language, Mashiach ben Yosef is Medinat Yisrael. Modern state of Israel is the expression, is from the base medrash of the Ramchal, the base medrash of the Gra, the base medrash of the Cook, meaning modern state of Israel is this resurgence of the sovereignty of the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael. It is the slow, steady return of the Jewish people back to tshuva. We're on our way. Little by little, that the Jewish people become more and more invested and involved in the world of tshuva. Why is it that Mashiach ben Yosef is going to die? So the Arizal says that the reason that Mashiach ben Yosef is going to die is because that's the onesh for the hundreds of years of Avodah Zarah of Malchus Yisrael, of the Northern Kingdom, which was led by Yerovam ben Nevat, who came from Shevet Ephraim ben Yosef, right? Meaning, Yerovam ben Nevat, Chazal tell us, was the first Mashiach ben Yosef, and completely failed. Completely failed. Meaning, he did the opposite of what he was supposed to do. Instead of expanding the Jewish people and bringing them closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and creating a sense of sovereignty and security in Eretz Yisrael, he did not. He defected, and the 10 tribes with him defected along with him. And Yonah is now being told, Mashiach ben Yosef time, let's go. Let's go. Why doesn't Yonah want to go? Says the Ramam Ibn, because Yonah knows if he goes now, he will die. Yonah knows that if now is the time for the war between Mashiach ben Yosef and Gog and Magog, he will not be victorious. This will be the end of Mashiach ben Yosef. Means that the 10 tribes, the world of Yosef, will be destroyed. That will be over. And Yonah is saying, I don't want that to happen. I don't want this to happen. I want Mashiach ben Yosef to survive. Says the Ari HaKadosh. And this is, you'll see this in the Shlah, you'll see this in the Gran, you'll see this by the mind, all of the Sarah They write that Pshat in, there's 2 brachas that we make about Yerushalayim. Sort of. You have the bracha of Yerushalayim, you have the bracha of V'tishkem b'sach kasher dibarta. V'nei asavak Rabbi Yamenu Yanalam. Hashem should return to Yerushalayim. Let me say, V'chisei David meher l'seichot achin. That you should place the throne of David there. And then we say, Semach David Avdecha meher satzmiach. That the expression of David HaMelech, the tzemach, the flowering of David, Hashem should make flower. Make that blossom. But that's the bracha of David, of Mashiach. So why is it the bracha in Yerushalayim? We're saying the Kisei David. Kisei David belongs to the next bracha. So the Rizal explains, no, the Anshe Knesset Agdol set this up. Because Kisei David is not David. Kisei David is Mashiach ben Yosef. The throne of Mashiach ben David, of the eventual Geula, the throne is Mashiach ben Yosef. Meaning there is something that happens that has to happen before Mashiach ben David comes. And that's the building of Mashiach ben Yosef. And then the question is that going to survive or is that going to die? And the Rizal said that the kavanah there is for 2,000 years of galus that the Jewish people have to daven. Kisei David Avdecha meher l'seichot achin. That we should survive. That the possibility of a natural return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel should be able to occur. That we should be able to survive this thing. Because if it doesn't happen, it's going to be very, very bad, and then we have to wait for Nisim until the end. What happens when Mashiach ben Yosef dies? Then we go back to the deepest, darkest galus, the Gemara writes. We go back to the deepest, darkest galus until Mashiach ben David comes with miracles. But everything goes bad. Mashiach ben Yosef does not survive, we're all in big trouble. Now, who's Gog and Magog, by the way? This is a Gemara in Sanhedrin. Ratza HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Chizkiyahu Melech HaMashiach v'Sancheriv Gog uMagog. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted Sancheriv to be Gog uMagog, and Chizkiyahu was going to be Melech HaMashiach. But if Sancheriv is Gog uMagog, then what he did to the 10 northern tribes means that they're finished forever. That Mashiach ben Yosef is done. That there's no ways they're coming back. That koach of the Jewish people is now lost. They were exiled, they were destroyed by Sancheriv. But are they going to survive at all? Are they going to survive? Yonah knows that the people that he represents, which is the northern kingdom, that are all still doing Avodah Zarah. They are not ready for this. If this is what happens, if Sancheriv is Gog and Magog, Sancheriv becomes Gog, the leader of Magog, which could be any king from any nation. Gog and Magog does not necessarily mean one particular person. And you know this because if Hashem says, I'll make Sancheriv Gog and Magog, means it could be anybody. It could be any nation. It says the Medrash Tanchuma, because what is Gog and Magog? I'm not going to make you do math now, but what's the gematria of Gog and Magog?
12.
70.
Okay.
Shiva. 70 nations. Gog and Magog is 70. That's what's going on here. Yonah is saying, I don't want Gog and Magog to happen now. We're not ready for this.
Sefer is Melech Ashur.
Correct. Which is Nineveh. Right? Klal Yisrael's not ready for this.
So he really wasn't running away then.
He's saying, I don't want to die. Meaning, I'm Mashiach ben Yosef. I'm the person that's supposed to get this to work. I need more time.
But he wasn't running. I
And
don't
he-
see it as running away now,
Right.
right?
That's a totally different story.
He really was running to the fish.
Right? Meaning he's running to, I don't know, tonight we're not going to have time to discuss why, but Dafka the Leviathan. What's Pshat in Leviathan? Why Dafka Leviathan? Maybe next week we'll get to Leviathan. There's a lot to speak about Leviathan. This whole conversation is about why Bris Milah is Leviathan. And but understand just for now that Yonah's mission is to be Marchiv Gvul Yisrael, is to expand the borders of the Jewish people, is to convert the whole world to monotheism. He is the beginning of this. And he says, if I do this now, I'm not going to be successful. It's not going to work. If I do this now, I'm going to die. We're not ready for this. We're not ready to become this. And whatever this is, he chases it away. 2 days. What's 2 days? 2,000 years. That's what the Medrash is saying. Because he's kicking the can down the road. He says, we're not ready now. It's going to take a long, long, long time.
And what year was Yonah?
It's a good shot. Meaning,
I thought it was just 2 days because the fish, the fifth day to 7.
correct, meaning we need to get to Shabbos.
Yeah.
Which is
2000.
the end of the Elef Hashish.
Yeah.
Meaning, I need 2 days. I need more time here. Mashiach ben Yosef says we're not ready for this yet. And I know that on a tiny localized level, it's true. I can convince 70 sailors, each one to but there's no ways that I'm going to be able to do this whole thing. Because Klal Yisrael's not ready. Because we're not ready for the story yet.
Mm.
Question is, why are we not ready for the story yet? So that's why the Leviathan is trying to kill him. We'll talk about Leviathan next week. Take advantage.